All right, got my breakfast. Time to watch a form critique.
Hey Robbie, just want to say thank you so much for submitting a video. Let's start off with the positives of your form. Positives, you're throwing a disc. Now let's talk about the things you need to work on. Footwork's bad, your reach back is uneven, it looks like you're muscling the disc, and pretty much we need to change everything. Also, what's going on with that forehead? Let's talk about that a little bit. Maybe put a hat on?
What's up YouTube fam, Robbie C here. When people talk about changing their game and trying to get better, one of the first places we go is form. Footwork, our reach back, our pull through, anything like that. And that's something I talk about in form critiques all the time. But what if there was a way to get better at the game without changing any of those? What if it came down to some other factors or little changes you can make to your game to start improving today? Well, I believe there are actually 3 things you can do to get better at disc golf today. The first thing I think that every disc golfer can do to get better at the game, especially beginners, is to really think about disc selection. Think about your local course that you play all the time. Could you walk me through what you throw on every single hole starting at hole 1? I know I could easily do that at several courses in my area. And I believe this autopilot mode actually takes us away from some of our best disc golf. When we really spend time getting to know our bag and realize the distances we can throw certain discs, it actually changes how we approach the game. Knowing your bag and being familiar with what you can do with every single disc will influence so much about your game. When you know your bag, you can accurately understand other conditions and how they're going to affect your shot. You can look at the wind, where it's blowing, how fast it's blowing, and see how you can create the best shot possible for this hole. There's a lot of time that other players are going to pull out drivers when you need to pull out a putter. There are other times that you need to pull out a driver when people are throwing mids and putters. So when you're trying to think through disc selection, there are a few questions you should ask. The first, how far do I need to throw? The second, how far do I want to throw? The difference there being sometimes we want to go a lot farther than we actually need to. The third, how far should I throw, which is usually the answer between questions 1 and 2. The fourth, what conditions are inhibiting my throw? And the fifth, what is the best disc that answers the prior 4 questions? When we can ask that on every single throw, we're going to find the right disc. Autopilot is our enemy. Proper disc selection is going to start changing our game today. The second thing you can do to play better disc golf today without changing your form is aim. Some of you may be saying, well, Robbie, obviously we need to aim. When you picture a line on the disc golf course, how far out do you envision that line? Where are you actually aiming when you throw a disc golf disc? If you're trying to picture something that is 200, 300 feet away, it becomes a lot harder to try and hit that target. One of the best examples I can think of for this is Ricky Wysocki and how he approaches putting. When Ricky pictures putting, he pictures the disc going under a certain object, over another object, and then into the basket. That's right. On any putt, Ricky has 3 different points he's trying to get the disc to pass through in order to get into the basket. This visualization helps him see the line so clearly that he's trying to hit. And I believe the same thing can be done on our disc golf lines. When the only target we have is the last target, it's going to create so many problems for us in our game. Just think about the last time you played woods golf. Were you able to hit your lines perfectly the entire time? Probably not. That's why most people hate woods golf. I believe it's because we aren't picturing the right targets along the way. When we start thinking about our line, we want to envision little windows all the way down the line. When we can do this, we start aiming for the first window, and if we hit the first window and we've placed the first window correctly, it should naturally carry to the next window. When we use these small points of aim, it becomes a lot easier to hit a target that is 10 feet away from me than it is to hit a target that's 250 feet away from me. The reason I love the woods golf example is because hitting lines in the woods is no different than hitting lines in an open field. We still can visualize these small windows of our throw all the way to the basket, even in a completely open field. One of the reasons the pros can do just as well at Waco in the woods as they can at Fountain Hills out in the open is because they visualize lines the same way. Pros don't just turn off the aiming feature when they get out of the woods. Pros are constantly looking for and visualizing their lines. The last tip I believe you need to play better golf today without changing your form, ask yourself this question: what does a good shot look like for this hole? I want you to take all of the negative thoughts and push them away. If you can push out all of the bad thoughts of, I hope I don't do this, I hope I don't do this, and in fact there's a whole video I put out on this mistake that beginners make all the time. If we can get the negative away from us and just visualize a clean shot over and over and over again, I want you to stand on the tee box until you can see that. The moment that a bad thought crosses your mind, walk away from the tee box. People who play with me will see me do this all the time. I do it on putts, I do it on drives. I will physically leave the area, come back with my new, fresh, happy thoughts, usually after doing a little jig, and be ready to visualize and crush that line. When you have seen that good line over and over and over again, now it's time to execute. Step up on the tee, trust your instincts, trust your decision making that you've made on selecting the right disc. Make sure that you visualize the right windows to throw through and throw the shot. If you visualize the best shot possible over and over again, the negative's not there, only the birdie awaits you. I hope this is helpful and I hope you guys have enjoyed this. It's an honor to be able to create content for you. I'm so excited to see how these tips help you change your disc golf game. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you have an amazing week. But for now, I'm going to leave you with the birdie.